Well, that's been long enough. Greetings, welcome to the Strange Net. My name is Dojel, I am, have been, and always will be your very own stranger, and today we're continuing on with Cultist Simulator. Last time, we got into the higher echelons of the dream world. The ones that require annoying sacrifices. So, today we're gonna continue exploring those, and hopefully not getting arrested in the process. Also, hello, Vay. That just freezing. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Alright, I was actually doing that. I was actually looking for more places to raid. And here we have a new prisoner. And here we have a problem. Let's just go through the spider's door. I may need to summon a raw prophet. Oh well, that's fine. How about we do this? Fleeting reminiscence isn't gonna... Wait, might work? Nope, that does work. Because fleeting reminiscence has some moth influence. The spider's door. Don't really want that. Let's go into the map. Iotic essence. What the hell is this? Apparently the dreams are so powerful now that we can just take real things from. Last night in the monsters, I visited the Maliari, from whose fires one does not emerge unchanged. The forge's light fell upon me and my blood boiled, and when I woke my blood burned within me so that I had to shed it in a cup and before it overwhelmed me. And lo, 10 drops of it were not blood, exactly, unless it be the blood of the sun. Perhaps I found the cup and the blood is not mine. The forge sears memory. And we got some iotic essence out of that somehow. Don't question it. Welcome to late stage cultist simulator, where you can just find real life, where you can just bring real objects out of the dream world. that didn't help. Mr. Tristan, please repair my mirror. I was gonna do something, but I'll just summon another raw prophet. It's fine. But how are you, Vay? Matt? Iris went to 5 AM last night. I see. Oh look, restlessness. That's repairing my mirror, and then we're immediately breaking my mirror again. Because this really is a fun stream door to have to interact with. And I suddenly realized why Tempest was angry about having his Port Noon anecdote stolen. I don't need special paints. Well, that I don't want. Let's go to the Red Church. Well, that doesn't help. Last night I visited the Red Church, where the Grail conducts its feasts. The light through the stained glass windows was all the spectre of red, and the names of the Grail labored to birth a new desire which had until today no name at all. I am sticky with the memory of it, and this morning everything I see is tinted ruby. Well, that was unhelpful. That's not helpful either. I have no idea why I keep reinforcing this. It's not like it's actually gonna help, but... Swear to God that raw profit better succeed or I'm gonna be upset. Well, the good news is that I can't get arrested over my nonsense. You know what, I might as well continue working with some forbidden epics. That is a lot of money. Huh. Oh. One additional forbidden epic. Stop trying to ruin my setup. Time to kidnap someone again. Oh, that's unideal. I should probably stop. Or alternatively, go find myself some winter-aligned influences. Power. I'm surprised for all the affinity for the color red, the Grail so far has no desire to do anything with virgins. I mean, if anything, kind of the opposite, no? Also, what's the association with the color red and virgins? Well, that's unfortunate. Blood. God dang it, damn it, Faye. I would kind of like to paint with this so that Mr. Agent doesn't snatch it up. Let's go through the spider's door. A forbidden epic. I guess I'll just take that one. The War of the Roads extended into the months, and the corridors behind the spider's door, the mason witch who styled himself Hubris Clamor has chronicled its skirmishes, in miles of lines of obsessive, branching, memorial script in the monster's dream stone. Last night I traced it, reading of the campaigns of the Children of the Leash Flames, the valiant defense of the Knot Sisterhood, the alliance with the Vagabonds, the furious quarrels of the Grail and the Forge. I might be overpaying for this, but honestly, I don't give a shit. Let's get this show on the road. Good evening, Mr. Circular Pixels, or Mrs. Circular Pixels, or whatever you prefer. How are you? My mouse is misbehaving. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, time to summon another demon. The Suppression Bureau got hand of my notoriety again. Never mind! I got lucky for once. You hate Grail stuff, but it's not the one you have the most trouble with. I mean, aside from the exile, I'm trying to think of it. Heart's kind of up there with being useless. And I mean, Edge is kind of the most useless as far as the cults go, because, you know. In any case, more hostages. Oh! Yeah, that one definitely demands some game knowledge. And a slight bit of RNG. As far as how much does the game want to cooperate with you. Because if those rituals do not want to cooperate, then you are gonna be dead for a while. Holy shit, here it is. And of course, right then I get to fucking Secret History. God damn it. Last night I opened the peacock door and afterwards it spoke to me. I am Vuk, it boasted. Both the tongue and the gods. I am the only entrance into secret light. I was worshipped before you upright apes, and I will be still when all of you are ugly ash. Listen, and I will prove it. I woke up with my mouth full of words. Thank God that you've beaten every non-exile victory before at least once. Oh, I couldn't go that far. I have the wrong kind of ADHD for that one. That is kind of impressive, though. So now we have a full complement of languages. Scotland. Before gods arose from blood, before ever apes stood upright, this was the language heard in the House of the Sun. I love restlessness. I especially love when I let it go out of control instead of actually painting with it. Like a fucking dumbass. Lantern Apostate is also a pain in the ass. I haven't done any of the Apostle victories yet. Truth be told. And here we have yet another idiot to sacrifice to the World of Dreams. Uh-oh. You almost have to look up stuff for this. Yeah, I guess. I might just have fucked myself. At least there's some contentment. How about I paint you? Fucking let's. Damn it, I should. The one time there's actually a fucking secret history there. Last night, I roamed the clustered organs of the spider's door. I found a node of particular vitality. All that beat remains of someone brave or someone betrayed. Whilst the thirst of the spider's door was yet quiet, I brought it home in a fold of my soul. One unresolved ambiguity that is immediately going into the thing. Well, that went nowhere. Hey look, free contentment. The game smiles upon me for once. That I'll take. And you. And you. A furious air. Not most useful, but oh well. I can always use it to eat some dread at some point. Oh, look who's back. Please don't disappoint me. There we go. Yeah, this soundtrack plays every now and then. I'm not entirely sure what triggers it. I'm sure it might have something to do with the game state, but I'm not sure. One unresolved ambiguity, and one inability to speak. Meanwhile, we'll send Tristan to repair our mirror again. Okay, so apparently that's the last one, so now we're gonna really have some trouble. Let's see, who do I bring? Let's start with Azim. Kind of a shame that all the high tier summons overlap so much. One repaired mirror, which we are immediately smashing. Overlap as in they all share at least one, well, they all share principles or rate cooperate. I'll demonstrate it in a bit. So, here we have Azim, who has 12 Grail and 12 Edge. King Crimson has 12 Forge and 12 Edge. The Maiden in the Mirror has 10 Winter and 10 Edge. It's a bunch of Edge, basically. And then there's also Teresa, but she has secret histories, and you don't use secret histories for anything. At least I don't believe you use it for anything. It would surprise me. Each of the stained glass windows of the Red Church is devoted to a distinct appetite, and the scenes they show are from life. Last night, in one of the uglier windows, I saw the appetites of certain public figures satisfied in private. I know he won't want this information made public. Perhaps he'll show me some consideration. Alright, Mr. Tristan. Oh, god damn it, King Crimson. You know what? We'll just send Azim in on his own. Maybe not. That's unnecessary. Even though I may want to resummon him now. That seems like there might be dead there, so summon him in the mirror. You know what, Azim? Go look through the city for me, will you? Anyway, let's study. On the matter and the deeds of serpents. This was probably the prophecies of the Naga, rendered into English and illustrated by William Midnight in Paris in the 1880s. But it shows a number of divergences from that text. It's certainly quite recent by the standard of fact texts. The serpent folk called the Great Hooded Princess came to know the order called the House of Lethe, and warred across the miles with them. They made an alliance with the Mother of Ants, whose children they had been. One of the tinier mysteries in this game, why is the Great Serpent called the Mother of Ants? A stream of ants will march their way to their queen. What does that have to do with serpents? The text describes how the Great Hooded Princess escaped, or will escape, from the 5th history where they had died, or were doomed to die. They engaged in a secret conquest of the land of the Great River, called India in some histories, and have ensured that all other conquests of that land are false conquests. And from that we gain the formula of Phidian. Serpents are the visitors which may not be denied. In the mountains, as upon the plains, there may not be a path where none has passed. A work by Ninigala of Nagash. There may not be a path where none has passed. What? The big servant in the lore of is the 7 coils. The mother of ants was a priestess who gained power by bathing in the blood of the 7 coils. I see. And the theme is sulking. That's not a secret history scored. When I visited the Red Church last night, they told me, between their clawings and their caresses, that the flower maker had visited, but lately, with his nectar and his promise, I woke twined in sullen sheets, with the amaranthine nectar brimming in my hand. I captured what I could of it, only a few drops, but it will be enough. Well, that was a waste of a perfectly good mirror. guess that fascination is gonna catch some thread in a minute. Ninigala tells a number of lively stories about riddling ogres and wars between mountain tribes, but turns somber in the tale of the empty-handed hunter, a lover of the Grail who sought to match her appetites and join her as an hour, but in the end rent and devoured himself, giving his name to the mountains he had once roamed. Oh, I see. Can I please get some knock influence? Thank you. I'm just gonna try and summon King Crimson again. That is not the ritual I wanted. Oh, King Crucible. I keep calling him King Crimson, even though that is not his name. And misnaming a name would surely be an ironic thing to do. Well, here it is, the subtle fracture. Ninigala claims that the Hours, who sometimes manifest as birds, the laughing thrush, the ivory dove, the beach crow, and the witch's sister, meet at an exact location on a mountaintop to exchange gossip unheard by their peers. Now and then, a mortal overhears them. The mortal is always obliterated, and the meeting's place always changed. How the end will begin. A book of bleak prophecy. Well, with an explanation that brief, that can only be about winter. One King Crucible and one Made in the Mirror. A prophecy of the Wars of the Roads, recorded in the subcontinent in the days before the Great Hooded Princess. In a foretold war, the children of the Leashed Flame marched on the cities of the continent, but the enactors of Solar Law and the Triple Sisterhood joined forces to hold them back, at tremendous cost. One unresolved ambiguity. Who wants to bet that there's something better behind these two? Nope, I'm lucky for once. Last night I opened the Peacock's door, and behind it in the bright spaces of the house I met a pilgrim adept. I am almost ready, they said, to pass to the summit of the house, to prepare for the final ascent. Perhaps you'll join me. I will need allies to fight for my place. Here is a story to help you rise. Things from outside the world have many weapons. Knives and riddles, fire and despairs. I have weapons of my own. Kind of tired of having to sending them back at all times. Now I fully admit that this is a terrible idea. But what's she gonna do? It's a maid in the mirror. She goes after my health. That's the safest thing she could go after. In that battle between the imperishable legions and the leashed flame, the legions will perish and the flame will be unleashed. And regain the mysteries of force. And I'm out of reading material. The Snow's Keeper. Probably let that activate first. I don't know why it does that. It's kind of annoying. A mountain peak temple of ill-omened aspect. Jewel-bright fungus flakes glow in the snow. None has come here in a generation, but still something moves within. We'll brave the mountain snows to reach the temple. If the dead rise against us, we'll suppress them. But there is a malignity here that we must suppress, or it will return home with us. Should I figured there would be a fucking curse. Oh well. Mountain, dead, and worms. Well, that's not helpful. Last night in the months I visited the Maliari, from whose engines and avenues one does not emerge unchanged. I watched the processes of sunset, and I entered the amber joy and the white joy and the blue joy. And I was subjected to the enlightenments of the calcination, and the Forge of Days touched me with her burnished fingers, and I rise from my bed with the utter knowledge that all nights must end. Alexis, a comma, if you will. should probably send someone. How about... Nah, we've already sent the... We've already prayed to the sun and rags. How about we use the moth, or, well, moth aspect instead. Before we do anything else stupid, we call upon the laughing thrush who cannot be sting. Oh, no, that's not the person. Who cannot be exhausted. Well, that can just decay then. I know, holy shit, that is a block of text. The altar's carpet. The interior of the temple throbs with luminescent fungi. We must peel them from the altar with our gloved hands before we can loot the place. It is as cold as rain-chilled flesh. Our gloves now are stained with light. Our breath mists in the temple's cold. The treasures that an unknown priest left here, and a pitiful huddle of bones. A sacrifice, or did a later visitor end their visit here? The glowing fungus has etched their skeleton with its essence. A furious liver. Huh. Hollowed Polos. How do you say that? A book in Phrygian. A book in Vec. A book that teaches you how, or a thing that teaches you how to speak Vec or Vec. I'm not sure how to say that. Anyway, time for a new adventure. The Eye of Ikirmal. We have read of a sultan who, 800 years ago, could sleep only beneath the stars. He ordered the construction of this observatory so that the stars could be accurately depicted on the ceiling of his bedchamber. Regrettably, the stars they saw were not safe for the unprotected human mind. The Sultan's successor ordered the observatory sealed. The rending mountains stand between us and the observatory. The door will be sealed and barred against us. The visions we may find may tear at our senses. So, another curse. Hooray! At least I don't have to send anyone. Whoops. Where has she gone? A discussion in VOC of the Vagabond's trials. Well, that is unhelpful. The Spief, perhaps a single adept, perhaps a council of scholars, hypothesizes secret events from limited evidence with persuasive accuracy. The Vagabond is recorded to have traveled not only the mountains and the wood, but not only all 9 continents, but also places forbidden to other hours. 9 continents? And of course the first thing that happens is we go crazy. The great telescope has rusted and fallen from the dome. The lenses have cracked, but pale lights rotate slowly above the floor, like lamps held aloft by dancers. Perhaps they imitate the procession of heavenly bodies. Perhaps their motion mourns the passing of the sun. From our gossip and invisible lore, Spief deduces that the Vagabond has visited nowhere, but that she will not return. He also asserts that she has yet to visit the glory, but that inevitably must be her goal. Huh. That's kinda surprising. The chief of the astronomers who dwelt here must have been a practitioner of the invisible art. In a cedarwood box in his quarters, beneath the decaying bed, we find what we sought. A new mirror to fix! The Tombs of the Shadowless Kings. In a radiating outcrop of lion-colored rock, laborers carved tombs for the first kings of this land. Those kings had hoped to be immortal, and perhaps one of them is. The others lie among their trinkets. A hereditary order of guardians watches closely. Game, please behave. We must penetrate the mountains, past the guardians, and brave the curse the Shadowless Kings left behind. Perhaps then we will find treasure. Book of Masks. Athena Vana's work on the rogue hour called the Vagabond. Oh, another one. The Vagabond, even. How does an hour go rogue? I mean, I'm sure that has a real answer, but I guess also, I mean, we did literally just read about them going to somewhere where the other hours apparently don't or shouldn't go. So, disobeying the rules, I guess, is still an option. I don't know what nowhere is. Well, I have an idea of what nowhere is, but it doesn't sound like the place a god should go. You were originally thinking in terms of a hierarchy. I mean, I don't have all the answers either, but in polytheistic settings, even the gods have rules they must follow. Athena Vana's work on the rogue hour called the Vagabond, who is also known as the Laughing Thrush, the Centipede, the Pilgrim, and by many other names, or as Vana has it, masks. The Mask of the Laughing Thrush, says Athena Vana, had a great friendship with the Sun in Splendor, the highmost hour of the Monsters, now divided and departed. The Mask of the Sight Thief painted the river in the Monsters. The Mask of the Vagabond was forbidden the Monsters, not for what she had done, but for what would occur. Last night, I came to the concursum, the Monster's Hall, which has been called the Chamber of Choices, where every path one does not take is a stillborn future. In the sea sky blue of the chamber's light, I saw the sister and witch pass, their 4 hands weaving 2 paths to one. I woke with my passions contorted to a knot. There is something I must do. There is always something I must do. The mask of the centipede recalled her birthplace, Mia, which had been punished for her creeping into the temple precinct. The mask cursed Mia to drink only dust and to be remembered only by the wind. For not beneath any mask does she forgive, and the centipede's hunger is not to be forgotten. Christoph Larkebus claimed to have purchased two handwritten copies of the Codex in the supposedly extinct Phrygian tongue from a family of witches on the shores of the Sea of Marmara. A third was given to the sea. The sister and witch came from the west, where they were born in 2 wombs, one a princess, one a monster. Nevertheless, they loved each other from birth, and met in secret to seek union. I feel like I've read this one earlier. I probably have, but that one might have been censored. When a great drought came, the kings of that land tried to sacrifice the princess and the witch, so they sailed across the sea. When despair took them, they flung themselves into the drowning waters and so found the Painted River, where they entered the monsters through the offices of the Red Grail. Nevertheless, the codex ends with a condemnation of the Grail. The dream of the conspiracy of the lower sky. Siftings of the disgraced oracle Damaun Azenate. That might be Azenaten. The disgraced oracle Daman Azenaten sifts through the tall tales of Penelope of Gordion, the work of the court poet Kala, and the forbidden fragments of the work of Adept Aretres, identifying common themes. Daman insists that the hours, far more than mortals, are subject to their passions, to hatred, and even to love. The seasons of famine and plenty, the turn of the earth, the transformations of the furnace, all these are only the results of the enactment of the lesser passions of the whole hours. Thanks, Rallabadbot. Perhaps. The Mound suggests that the Hours have constrained their rivalry to avoid a war within the House of the Sun. He identifies the fear of the crime of the sky as a reason that Hours do not satisfy other passions. He speculates on the horrifying possibility of Hours turned Alucard. What then would they devour? I don't know what that means, but I'm kind of scared now. Lol. I guess that's fair. What does it say about the creeping ground? The treasures lie under a creeping ground. It may follow us back home and settle like spores into our lives. And the curse shrivels, which means I can finally stop doing this. We roll the stone aside and light floods the tomb. Here is the king, dried to papery leather and crumbling bone. He does not move. This one was not immortal. The shadowless kings were buried only with their most personal treasures. They expected no luxury in the afterlife. Here is a tiny cache of the things this king valued. Some stanic venom, glassfinger toxin, under no circumstances should you put this in anyone you want to keep. I see. Was that it, or did I miss something? I'm gonna assume that was it. And so we have reached the end of yet another path, and so we shall continue breaking mirrors. I don't know if that's the game hasn't explained what the crime in the sky is, but there's a reason that it's the price is that you are literally banished from the afterworld, so... it's, quite severe that... I'll put it this way. You are quite likely to do it if you put yourself in the position to do it, and the price is enormous. And maybe one of these books will finally explain what the crime in the sky is. Because I am getting kind of tired of the game alluding to it and not explaining it. But, you know, that's what the Vagabond's maps are for. Fuck off, Raw Prophet. Nobody cares. That's less ideal. least the damning evidence is gone, so that can't kill me. That notoriety is gonna go away before it causes problems, I hope. So how about we immediately get in trouble again? Okay, that is officially too much fascination. Well, you're gonna die. The Vagabond's map. The Vagabond is the 1 hour who can never enter the monsters, but she goes everywhere else. And if you know, and if you believe her both, she's the only one who knows all the histories. Sometimes she lets someone record her travels. The river, wrote the sage Meg, in the Book of the Centipede, runs through the sands of out of myth and into legend. This is the place the centipede was born, they say. The sands of which Meg wrote hide perilous curiosities. We are locating tombs and sorrows in the lone and level sands. Ren Epic. I'm just gonna go to the Chamber of Ways and get even more fascination. Holy shit. Holy shit, please stop that. Well, that's not who I was trying to summon, but okay. Hunters aren't doing their job properly anymore. Wonder why that is. I mean, aside from, you know, RNG. You know, Azim, if you don't want to cooperate, then fuck off. I wasn't trying to summon you anyway. Size in the monsters is negotiable. And so last night in the Worm Museum, I saw one of the worms who took Vienna caged next to a worm taken from the soul of a child. In dreams they are more visible than waking, smooth and dark as jewels. The walls bear stories of the first and second world wars. The third is too recent to have passed into the histories. Of course, the notoriety is coming. Or the season of suspicion, I suppose. It is called. Last night I came to the Concursant, the crossroads of the monsters, which has been called the Chamber of Ways. From here the hours may pass to any place in the monsters. Here the Horned spoke to me in her voice that is older than any living thing, and she said, "There is a door that will open for a little while. This is its time, and here is another division." Can I? Oh, that's why. I saw the red church again last night, with its pews of bone, the stained glass and the shades of ruby, the golden altar that beats like a heart. That night, the names of the Grail scattered to speak of those long who've sworn off the pleasures of the bedchamber, save between man and man or woman and woman. They still pay tribute to. They still pay the tribute of the light. Let me try it again. They still pay the tribute of the light, and Ivory said. They do not bear fruit, a lovely said. If Forge and Sun had only joined, a thirstily lamented. Then they fell to gossiping of the long of the houses of Leyte, and their deeds in the desert. I remembered it still. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, Valent. Pretty much. Which is an interesting constraint to live under when you are a Grail long, specifically. Which is probably why the Grail names are debating it. That was also the Ivory Oath. That we learned the Ordo Limii subjected themselves to. I'll just throw that in there. I dreamt last night of the Worm Museum. The Hours have set wards about it and warnings for it, but they have left it open to mortal adepts who can prove themselves by reaching it. Perhaps they hope to inspire revulsion against the things that bred in the corpse of the sun. Those things that are here still, always dying, never dead. They came from nowhere, the warning says. And if they complete their work, the monsters will be nowhere one day. Well, that's less ideal. And I do have some contentment. Do I take the unresolved ambiguity? I should not have taken it. One dreams of the Red Church, one hears the voices of the Grail's names, the Thirstleys and the Ivories, and the Lovelies and the rest. Not all the embassy are women, they might be heard to say. The hungers of women run no deeper than the hungers of men, but a mother is never far from her child at its birth, and that is not always true of a father. Come closer, and we will show you what we mean. Can I ask you for a different commission? This one isn't worth my time. I don't need Iron Spin 3i. They're not even useful for anything. Oops. Oh well, let's buy an NFT then. That is the wrong door, Dochel. Oh god damn it, not again. Last night I visited the Red Church where the Grail conducts its feasts. The light through the stained glass windows was all the spectra of red, and the names of the Grail labored to birth a new desire which had until today no name at all. I am sticky with the memory of it, and this morning I see everything I see is tinted ruby. I think I read that one already, but that's fine. Dang it. And that's not right. Oh shit. Well, I I forgot to get better from sickness. That is unideal. Not the worst thing in the world, but it is unideal. Let's see, right of the map's edge, contentment. Not contentment, right. Oh. That'll get eaten by that, so that's fine. No more people into the Vagabonds map then. Mia. Huh. That's kinda surprising. I figured there'd be more. Well, if that's all that there is to do with the Vagabonds maps, which I guess does make sense in a way, then I suppose we'll know what to do next time. Well, that's unideal. But oh well. I think that's as good a place to stop as any other. So, I'm gonna ask Trial Bad Bot for my outro. And let's just say hi to Nadian. Nadian's doing repo. Nadian's a cool person. If you know who I am, then you know who Nadian is. In any case, go have fun with her. I would like to thank everyone who came and watched me today. I would like to thank Valent and